What up, fellers? It is a cold Michigan day, so I figured I'd make a quick little video. I get a lot of questions on social media about people asking me about the Torqstorm. How do you like it? You know, how'd you set it up? All these different things. So I figured I'd make a quick video of, you know, what it took to kind of set this up, what I did with the intercooler. I get a lot of questions about the intercooler. How did you put it in? You know, how did it fit? And then also kind of talk about the pros and cons that I like about the Torqstorm, or don't like about the Torqstorm, and kind of go from there. But first things first, one of the biggest questions I keep on getting asked is intercooler. What intercooler are you running? You know, how many pounds of boost do you see through your intercooler? With the amount of piping do you have, do you see a good boost? So that's one thing I keep on getting asked quite a bit. Is you can see here I have quite a bit of piping, and a lot of guys keep on saying, man, you're probably not seeing really good boost with all that piping, you're probably losing boost and whatnot. To be honest, I don't have a problem with it at all. I have the 3.25 pulley, so if you look at the Torqstorm, what they rate that pulley to be, it should be at about 8 pounds of boost. When I took it to LS Fast the track, I spun it to about 7,000 RPM, which is about the max of what they say you want you to spin that blower at. And I got 10 to 11 pounds of boost ish, right around on the big end, or on the big end of my second gear. So, and it would ramp down each time you shift, which is normal. But my max was about 11 pounds, and that's through with all this intercooler piping. So really, I don't see why people say that's a problem. Maybe it's a problem with your setup, but it's not a problem with mine. I mean, you have to look at your clamps, make sure you don't have any leaks or anything. Obviously I don't think I do with how good the boost is, but that is probably something that people are going to look at a little further. It's not necessarily how long your pipe is to reduce your amount of boost. You have a problem somewhere with your intercooler, your piping, whatever. So just kind of look at your clamps, make sure you're not leaking anything, everything's nice and tight. Make sure you're, double check, triple check, because especially with driving it around, it'll rattle around and get loose. So that's something I would recommend. Just kind of don't worry about your piping. If you gotta go around the big area to make it work, make it work. You'll still see good boost. So, but also the intercooler, I had to make some makeshift brackets with just L-channel steel that I had, and I welded it together, drilled some holes, bolted it to the top of the intercooler, made it hang right here. You can't really see really well through the grill right now, but what I plan on doing, I think I got some pictures of it. I'll throw the picture up there so you can see exactly how I did it. But very simple on the way I did it. I even used a 4-inch hole saw on where the pipe comes through. Just hole saw here and that side and go right through. It wasn't that hard. Now when it comes to Torqstorm kit, what else do you need other than the kit itself? So the kit comes with pretty much everything you need. Even when so for instance with this is the blow-off valve. I bought this tee from Torqstorm. This does not come with the kit. This is something that I did extra because they will give you a fitting here for the intercooler piping that you can weld in for your blow-off valve. I do not TIG weld. I'm not good at it. I've never tried it, nor do I really desire to try that because it looks like an art, and I'm not good at it. So I bought that tee so that way I don't have to do that. So that's your cheat code right there. So now it did cost me like 60 or 80 bucks, something like that, to buy that tee, which to me is worth it. It was simple, obviously just clamp it in and done. Now obviously it's an extra, clamp style that you got, an extra clamp that you got to have in your system. But again, I'm not having a boost problem, so I'm not worried about it. But that was extra. That wasn't something that come with a kit. The next hardest thing probably the hardest thing about this whole kit to install is, and really I mean, I say hard, they make it really easy. They give you the kit to put the drill the crank pin. You have to pin the crank and the pulley together, so that way it doesn't spin, because obviously you're a belt driven supercharger, so it doesn't spin the pulley on the crank. We obviously when we installed ours, it was in the motor's already in the truck, and you can see how hard it is to see up inside there, how deep this pulley is from the damper. It was really tricky to see up in there. We actually had 3 guys, so I was drilling the hole drilling the holes for the set pins, and I had one guy with a flashlight, another guy with a camera, so I could look through the camera to see how far I was going. That was a bit tricky. So that is probably the hardest part of the entire install. Now, when it comes to the bracket setups and putting everything together, man, they have really good instructions, and you can see here, it is not that tricky. It's not, they're pretty easy to put get these setups in place and bolt them in. Even when it comes to the factory accessories, the factory accessories really do not change at all. The only thing I had to take apart was the factory serpentine belt tensioner to get bolted through, but that was about it. I mean, that stays in place. You don't really touch the factory accessories, which is nice because you just literally bolt that in and boom, you're good. But if you were to get the LS1 style, and I know that from looking at that kit, it's a little more expensive because you have to get, it comes with brackets that hold your alternator and your power steering pump with that LS1 style kit, which I opted out of because I don't need it. I already have the truck accessories and whatnot, so it's just easier to do it this way. And obviously it's less evasive with having to deal with all this side of the stuff, this side of the motor. So that made it a little bit easier with being the truck accessory kit, and it is a little cheaper. I think this kit was like $3,800 or $4,000, somewhere right around there, after taxes and everything. So it really wasn't that bad. But really, man, that's about it. There's really not that much to this kit. They're pretty simple to put in. I'd say after you get past that drilling the keys, it's, it all kind of lays in and it's plug and play. We had this installed in, I would say, 3-4 hours maybe. It didn't take us long. I drove it to my buddy Keith's house and we put it in, and 4 hours later I drove it home. It was that simple. Now there's tune stuff you got to do, changing your tune. I have a 3-bar map sensor on top that you'll need for obviously with the boost application. Now 3 bars is a little excessive because obviously I'm not, for every bar it's 10 pounds of boost. I'm not seeing 30 pounds with this kit. With that pulley, like I said, I was seeing 10 pounds. And I will change the pulley. What I plan on doing probably next year is changing this pulley out to turn it up a little bit. With a 3.25, like I said, 8 pounds. They do a 3.1, which they say, if I'm not mistaken, I think when you go up from there, it's only like 2 or 3 pounds difference. Don't quote me, but it does go up a little bit. But I do see guys putting a 2.99 grip tech pulley on it too as well. So that's something else I'm gonna look into. But the thing that's a kicker, just so you know, is that when you want to change this pulley out, you have to either send it into Torqstorm and have them change the pulley out for you to keep your warranty, or if you do it yourself, then you void your warranty. So I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth what I'm gonna do. They don't really recommend doing the 2.99 grip tech pulley because they say it's obviously a higher risk of overspinning the blower. But I've seen guys run them and they make good power with them. So I don't know. I may try it out. I may not. I may just send this unit in this winter and have them just do the 3.1 and step up just a little bit. But if I know me, I'm probably gonna do the 2.9 on there and just send it. But man, like as of right now, so I've had this kit since I'd say midsummer, and I can't knock it. Everything's been pretty stout. Only thing I've had a problem with is I blew a belt apart at the burnout contest at LS Fest, which again I can't say that's a fault of theirs. It just I was revving this thing to the moon for like a minute and a half, so it shredded the belt. But I will say that there's another thing I did have a problem with was the blow-off valve was sticking on me. It kept on sticking open. And so what I had to do was take apart this entire blow-off valve and then kind of clean it and throw it back together. And really, man, I never had a problem with it since. So that's something to keep an eye on when you first do the install. Fire it up. If you see your, if you hear the big whoosh like crazy for a long period of time and it doesn't stop, just check your blow-off valve. Make sure it's not stuck like mine was and stuck open. But even that, like, it was pretty easy to. It literally unscrews. You take it apart, you clean it, throw it back together, and I've never had an issue since. My thought was maybe it's a burr. I had a burr in it or something, and there really was an issue. So. But yeah, I'm gonna put some pictures up from the intercooler that I had when I first installed it, so you can kind of see a little better. I may even put a link or a picture of the link of through. I got this intercooler through Amazon. I think it was $180. And man, I don't see over. I have never seen over 100 degrees on with this intercooler. Just so you know, so it's putting in work and it's doing great. And I'm talking like on hot days, man, like hot 90-degree days with the engine bay is probably 130 degrees inside there, and I still don't see over 100 degrees in the intake temps. So this intercooler is our go-to for sure. So, but that's about it for this video. I just figured, like I said, I've been getting a lot of questions on it, and I just kind of knocks out all those questions all in one video. So until next time, and hopefully you'll see me turn this sucker up and see what this Torqstorm can really do. So we'll see you next time.